Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. So, we will continue with our discussion on chapter 7, verse 9. Punyo gandha prithyam cha tejas chasmi vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. I am the original fragrances of the earth, and I am the heat and fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. So, Krishna is elaborating, and this list is by no means exhaustive, but he's using sufficient examples to indicate how he is both the cause and the essence of everything. As he says that I am the natural fragrance of earth. So the fragrance of earth is especially unlocked when it rains, especially after a long spell of dry weather. When it rains, then the fragrance becomes it's a very pleasing fragrance. So just like Krishna said, I am the taste of water, he is the fragrance of earth, he is the form of fire. So Baldev Vidabhushan, he continues to apply this rule of causality to make this point that it is only the subtle that is the cause of the gross. So taking the example of earth and fragrance, earth is the subtle element and fragrance, earth is the gross element and fragrance is the subtle. But one should not think that it is the earth that is the cause of the fragrance. But because fragrance existed, earth is able to manifest it. So it is essentially the other way around, that it is the subtle that causes the gross. Similarly, for the existence of the jiva, it is not the gross body that is the cause of the jiva's existence. That because there is a spirit soul with desires, the subtle body, made of mind, intelligence and false ego comes. And because of certain propensities of the subtle body, the gross body comes into existence. So essentially Krishna is saying that he is the cause and the essence of everything else. As Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he is the cause, and as Shodhaksha Vishnu or the Paramatma, he is the essence or the maintainer. Okay, next verse. Verse 10. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhi matam asmi tejas tejasvyanamaham. O son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. So Krishna uses the word Sanatan over here. In the second line he says, Vidhi Partha Sanatana. So Sanatan means that Srila Prabhupada translates Sanatan as original and eternal. So in this context, what Krishna is denoting, that he is the single seed. Right? The bijam is used not as a plural but as a singular. So it's not that Krishna manifests as many seeds that then become different living entities. But he says that I am the singular cause of everything. Right? He says bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidipartha sanatana. And sanatana means that this has been there forever. So not only am I the original cause, I am also the eternal cause. Sometimes people say that Krishna appeared in Dwapar Yuga 5,000 years ago. Who was the cause before Krishna appeared? But Krishna is eternal. His pastimes may be manifest or unmanifest at different points of time, but Krishna in his original form is eternal, and therefore he is the original and eternal cause of everything. So he uses some more examples here. He says that I am the intelligence of the intelligent. And intelligence is the ability to distinguish what is valuable and what is worthless. So in a way, Krishna is saying that I have given you this intelligence to understand me. Now it is up to you to use it properly or not. Prabhupada in the purport says that originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything. And then he quotes this verse from Katha Upanishad, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kamam. That Nityo is Nityanam, that amongst the eternals, there is one eternal. Chetanas Chetananam, that amongst the conscious, there is one person who is the supreme conscious. And what is the distinction? Eko Bahunam Yo Vidati Kamam, that one person is fulfilling the desires of everybody else. Because somebody might say that the Jiva is also eternal and Krishna is also eternal, the Jiva is also sentient and Krishna is also sentient. So Prabhupada makes this distinction. Yes, the Jiva is eternal, Krishna is eternal, Jiva has intelligence, Krishna has intelligence, but Krishna is the one who is supporting everything else, not the other way round. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Okay, verse 711. Balam balavatam cham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma virodha bhuteshu kamasmi bharatarshaba. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas. Arjuna. So Krishna here talks about Kamaraga Vivarjitam. So Kam means the desire to maintain one's life. Contextually it means through procreation. So Kam means the desire to engage in sex, and it's an expression of one's desire to continue their own existence beyond their own mortality. Right? They may die, but the children continue to live. And Kam also means desire for acquiring things, for acquiring material objects. And Rag means that after having attained material object, one still hankers for additional things. So another name for Rag is Trishna. Trishna is excessive thirst for material enjoyment, which contaminates the consciousness. So Krishna says that that strength that is devoid of Kam and Rag is him. So Bala, when one has strength that is devoid of Kam and Rag, it means that it is now uncontaminated, which means that that strength can now be used to perform one's prescribed duties. Right? And that is Krishna. So when one is sees themselves having an attraction to performing one's prescribed duties, one understands it's the mercy of Krishna. So Krishna addresses Arjun as Bharat Arshabha, as the Lord of the Bharats, indicating that you have enormous strength. The Bharatas are an exalted dynasty, and you are the foremost of them. But the ability for you to do your duty without contamination is coming from me. Srila Prabhupada notes that there is a difference between the devotees and the impersonalists and the voidists. And this verse brings forth that. When Krishna says that he is the calm, he is the sex desire, that is dharma viruddho bhuteshu, that is not against the religious principles. Then he is saying that the desire to have sex according to religious principles, which is within the institution of marriage for having children, is actually should not be considered to be sinful. Whereas the impersonalists and the voidists, they reject it. They consider all form of sex to be sinful, but not the devotees. And so Prabhupada says that sex desire, according to religious principles of dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offsprings Krishna consciousness. So one may extrapolate Krishna's omnipotency, where Krishna is saying, I am everything, to make the claim that even sinful activities are coming from him. And sometimes people say, who am I but a puppet in Krishna's hand? And they'll use that to justify their sinful activities. But Krishna negates that conception in this verse when he says dharma viruddha, that only that which is not against religious principle. So then, if it is not coming from Krishna, where is it coming from? Because Krishna has already stated that everything is coming from him. So then, where is the dharma viruddha activities coming from? So the understanding is that the empowerment is coming from Krishna, the misuse is coming from the jivas. So the ability to do sinful activities is Krishna. But the misuse of that ability to do sinful activity is the free will of the jiva. So a king may appoint a minister and empower him to do some business. The minister may be corrupt and use that position to do unlawful activities. So the empowerment is from the king and the misuse is from the minister. That's how we can understand that how everything is coming from Krishna, but one that is along religious principles is as per the desire of Krishna. Okay, next verse. Okay, verse 12. Ye cheva satvika bhava rajasas tamasascha ye mate vetitan vidi natva aham te shrutimai. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So, as we had mentioned that the previous verses, Krishna had given a sampling to show that how he is the cause and the essence of everything. So all things are dependent on Krishna and are an expression of his power. Right? So here he says, he extends it to everything. That everything is not just limited to the few examples that he has given, but everything is in him. So whether they are be in the mode of goodness, so things in the goodness is like control of the senses, control of the mind, the demigods. Then things in the mode of passion, such as lust and pride, and asuras like Hiranyakashipu, and things in the mode of ignorance, like lamentation, illusion, lethargy, the Rakshasas. These are all the products of the modes of material nature belonging to Krishna. They depend on him. They exist in him, but not the other way round. Right? So one may use the analogy of a bunch of bananas. So if there is a bunch of bananas that are hanging from the rope, and somebody says there's a bunch of bananas over there, and then you go and remove all the bananas from there, and then the bunch of bananas stop existing. So one might use the same analogy to say that if Krishna is existing in this modes of goodness, passion and ignorance, when all of these are removed, then does Krishna cease to exist? And this is essentially the Mayavadi doctrine, that they say that when everything that is material ceases to exist, then since the reflection of God is in those material conceptions, God also ceases to exist. So here Krishna is specifically negating them, right? So he says that nato aham teshu te mahi, right? So that they are in me, but I am not in them. So even if all of this was to be taken away, then Krishna would continue to exist. Another understanding of this also is when Krishna says that they are in me but I am not in them, because the nature of these modes is to contaminate. Even the mode of goodness, the nature is to contaminate. So Krishna is making this point that although all these modes emanate from me, although I contain all of them, but they do not contaminate me in the same way that they contaminate the jiva. The Prabhupada notes that these modes of goodness, passion and ignorance are emanations from Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirgun, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next verse.